So let's go ahead and talk about Astro Bot. So you reviewed it for 411.
Yep.
You gave it a
Just kind of
9
off.
out of 10.
Yeah, I just reviewed kind of off the cuff for the hell of it. I got a
Yeah,
few hours to kill.
right? Like why not? And then I'm I talked to Keith about it. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna wind up reviewing it for Outer Haven. That was the plan.
Yeah.
Nobody else has signed up for it, so I was like, oh, why not? I want to get back to doing stuff for them, so I may do that. I finished it on Saturday.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's funny. I finished the game completely in 2.5 days. Like I got it from Jens like early, like late one night, and then the next 2 days I just marathon through it completely. And it's helpful that I'm just looking up guides and where crap is. So that was good.
see, I'm trying not to do that
There's your problem.
so far. I did use a little bird a couple of times, just
Yeah,
because
like
I'm
after you go through a
already.
level, you can there's like a thing, but like you don't want to use that too much because like there's a trophy that you need to get a lot of money. You need a lot of money for to unlock,
Oh, okay.
or
So yeah.
you need to buy 150 items from that machine. So
Oh, I already have, I think, like 130 or
okay,
35, so I'm close. But yes, I do see, like I did start seeing what you meant. Like I used it, I think, like 2 in a row. At one
yeah,
point I was like, oh man, this really kills your coins. It was like, so yeah, now I can see why you're not, most people are probably just going on YouTube and not doing it this way, or even doing the community help thing inside the PlayStation 5, the
right,
PSN thing. They have it where you can do like community uploads and show you how to do it.
yeah.
But I
But
mean,
I
yeah,
assume you
go
still
ahead.
love it.
Oh yeah, even more. I mean, just getting to that ending. What amazing that ending was! Just like a trip down memory lane for that. If you love PlayStation at all, what
It
did you
really.
think about like the all the special levels? I guess the ones. I mean, without spoiling them. I mean, like, did you?
You mean they're okay? They're pretty good.
Yeah,
You mean? Do you mean like the five main ones or
like the
the cam?
five ones at
The
the
cam?
end of each. The
Yeah,
ones at
yeah.
the end of each world, right?
The
Before you
cameo
get to the.
levels. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
good. Uh, my problem with well, I don't really talk about this in the review that much or at all really, but like the problem with that game, kind of, there's two funny things. One is they completely ignore Sackboy, which is
Well,
a strange
I,
omission.
I, I kind of understand.
Hey,
He's their competition a little bit, you know.
no, it's
Yeah,
because like it's still a PlayStation,
yeah,
brand or like mascot. Like they're allowed to put in Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, who they didn't, the other competitor owns them for God's sakes.
yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, but
And
that's different. I feel like because that's probably just Xbox playing ball, and it's just them being like, we get to pull another one over on you that like Xbox is working with us. That's how desperate they are,
yeah,
you know.
I think the game's kind of almost a bummer in a way because like the one spoiler is like that. Okay, that first cameo level is you're playing basically like an Ape Escape level,
Yeah.
and it's like this is cool. And then you think about it for a minute and go, hey, whatever happened to Ape Escape? And then it's like, wait,
Yep.
when was the last time Ape Escape came out? And you realize it was 20 years ago,
Yep.
maybe
I mean, you
22
can
years
play
ago.
them on the as part of the PS Plus. So
Yeah, but you know what I would
it,
rather have or rather them do is a new Ape Escape game.
yeah, man, I totally get you. I thought about that too, right? Like,
Or they got like
what an yeah.
they got
Go
like a
ahead, go
bunch of
ahead.
Wipeout shit in the game with the ships and crap. And it's like, hey,
Hmm.
whatever happened to Wipeout? And it's like, yeah, the last Wipeout game was the Omega Collection, which was just a collection of old Wipeout
Well,
games.
yeah, and now
And
that studio got ended,
right,
so
exactly. So you start thinking about like all these like derelict studios and Sony's path that that's what Xbox is doing right now. So
yeah. I mean, there's another one that I was totally surprised. Like, wow, okay, we picked this game as one of like okay, the other three make total sense, right? The
yeah,
other three that are absolute the franchises right now for
Yeah.
Sony. When you think about um, the one that I did not think would ever be one of those, I'm just like, wow, I also have great memories of this game, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's right,
Yep.
that thing.
Where is the jumping flash game
Like,
level? You know.
but it is like an absolute like really cool moment of
Sure.
damn, really, this is all of Sony's history, right? Like all these games showed up on these consoles, and um, all the bots. Like every time you meet one, it's like, oh damn, that's from that game,
Eh,
and yeah,
that was actually a criticism I did level at the game. Is like there should have been like some encyclopedia for that crap.
yeah. I'm really surprised they don't have something inside the game for that. I
Yeah.
agree, because there's some
I
where
mean,
it's just like, who
yeah,
the hell
most of
is
those.
this?
I mean,
Like,
it depends on how in depth you are in PlayStation history. Like, I'm sure you and I sussed out 80% of that stuff, probably.
yeah,
But like, some of that
exactly.
stuff is like, okay, I guess. Or it's like, this dreamer or something. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? But uh, my big problem kind of with the game. Well, we talked about it. Like like that game needs an actual story.
Hmm.
Uh, or it's not a story. Like, it doesn't need to be some deeply involved thing. But like the story even in the game is some asshole alien rips apart your spaceship for like no good reason, and that's it. Like they didn't even call it. Like I only found out that guy's name right at the end of the game when he has like
Well,
a
I mean,
life bar.
he could be uh their Bowser, right? He doesn't have all those years of
But in
games.
yeah,
Like,
except for like even in the Mario Brothers manual, they literally call him Bowser, or like
yeah,
that's
well, his name's like
uh
Nebulax, whatever, right?
yeah. What they should have done, which I thought
Yeah.
would have been funny, is if they called him Xbot.
I think they can't. They
Uh,
can't.
but so yeah,
But yeah.
like an actual story, or like I would say Astro Bot, like as a character, is charming, but it has like no personality. I mean, you can say the same thing
Mm,
about Sackboy, also, really.
right. I
So
think he has more personality than Sackboy because he
but
had with
it's all
yeah.
just kind of like responses. He has like no agency in the game, kind of. And Jens brought this up, and he's like, "Well, I wouldn't want the character to be like wisecracking every 35 seconds or something." And it's like, I don't need that. Even though if they did that, you could get Jack Black in another role. Like, hey, why not? Or Chris
I mean,
Pratt.
but would you do you level the same issue at Link with Legend of Zelda also?
Yeah, partially. But the
Okay.
thing, the difference with Link is that is a very long lineage of him not talking, or
But it's a
and
robot. Like he's really supposed to be like a child robot. So I can kind of understand why he doesn't talk. Like it's
and,
he acts like a freaking child, almost like a baby almost in some ways. And
and
you're kind
but
of just pushing him
if,
along and he
if
does
that's
things.
the case, it raises a whole
Yeah.
bunch of questions for me. Like, who built this thing? Who built the PlayStation 5 spaceship? Is it like the Cerny god somewhere, or like
Well, yeah. I mean,
uh,
he has help from it wasn't Astro that built it, right? It's like these machines that are helping you build it back together. It's not Astro like working on them. It's you, right? You're the one that's supposedly helping him put it
I
back together. So
I want to play the prequel game where you find out the humanity or the creator race enslaved these robots, and they took over and killed them all. uh but and the one level, or the one, well, first of all, you're not gonna have fun at that last level. I can guarantee you that one.
I imagine not.
uh but the only power up I really didn't like was the monkey hands one.
Yeah, that one's a bit awkward with the where you have to move the controller with the motion controls. Yeah, that one's not
Yeah,
great.
and especially
Um,
that boss fight when you have to do that.
yeah,
I was, oh
it's
god,
kind of
like
clunky in there, but
I do like 10 times, maybe even 15, because I just got to think. It's like they want you to be quick, but it's like this thing does not make you go quickly. So it's like we have
yeah,
a problem here.
and you have to also make sure you don't get hit while you're up there, or
Yeah,
you know.
I would say the life, like, it would have been nice if there was actually kind of an upgrade system for the character. like, hey, you can boost longer, or hey, you have more health. You know,
Yeah.
so aside from like the boss levels, like it's like one hit and you're done. I think.
The
And
only
with the
thing
boss,
that I had an issue with kind of is
yeah,
the if you found the secret warp zone, you had to
yeah, you get
basically redo the
teleported out.
level.
Yeah, I had that
So
happen
it's
a few
like
times.
I get it that you want us to replay these levels, and they're kind of short for the most part. So it's not that big a deal. It's just more of like, why don't you
You should
just
have just
let
been
me
able to like,
collect everything at once without having to redo it?
yeah, you should
You
have been able
know,
to just unlock it, be like, okay, I found it, and move on. And then
exactly.
once you beat the
Yeah.
game,
Because
or
then,
beat the
even if you
level,
go to the wrong one, like let's say you go to the one that actually ends the level by accident, you can't go back
right?
and try to find anything because once you're there, you're stuck. That's it. You have to end the level. So,
My, I,
yeah.
I think the best part of the game though, and it's a really minor detail, kind of in the grand scheme of things, is that everything actually has physicality. Like they don't make shit up at all, or it's not decoration.
Hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
construction, you play the construction zone or like level, right?
Right.
Like
Exactly. Yeah.
the fact that you can climb up on all the cranes, and all the cranes
Yeah.
have like coins on top. So it's like, okay, they realize that people would want to do this, so they put something up there. It's like, oh, it's a neat little thing. Or one of the levels has one of the ghost levels, and they don't really reuse settings too much, except for like the ghost level. They reuse that like 3 or 4 times. Uh, but like one of the ghost levels has like a big tornado of cutlery or like knives and like
Yeah.
rocks
Where
and
you have
crap.
to do the stop time thing
Yeah,
to
you have to
get
like
it
jump
to,
between them. And I
yeah.
actually I intentionally failed that like 5 or 6 times, just because I was jumping on every object I could see. And I was
Right.
like, wait, there's like 50 or 60 objects in this thing, and they're all actually there. You know, it's not, they don't fake it. You know.
Yeah. They make it fun for you to interact with everything, explore, find things, find items.
And
Uh,
the only, this isn't a criticism per se, but it is kind of an observation, is they actually do have some levels, like some one-off levels with power-ups, like the Sponge Man
mhm.
or the shrinking stuff, where they
Yeah.
only use it for one level.
The water one. Where
Yeah,
you,
I thought that was actually really bad personally.
yeah. The water one's kind of
Uh,
annoying.
but like the Sponge one, it's like they could have made 2 or 3 other levels, and that would have been fine.
Yeah.
Or like, or the shrinking one, or have one where he's like Godzilla or something like that. Like that'd be
I
cool
would
too.
honestly, I would love if they just did. I don't know if they would if they're considering because apparently they are going to scale up the studio and give them more money.
Yeah,
So I don't know if they're just going to just pack this thing with DLC constantly or what they're going to do with it, or they're going to put out little expansions. They already did say they're going to make more levels and more VIP bots and stuff like that coming on the road. So like
right.
I think some of the people, some of the ones that I like Twisted Metal, I was kind of surprised not in here because they have that show. Um
I'm not.
and but most there's a lot of people that from our era, like
Right.
we would have known if you put Sweet Tooth in the game, like oh immediately, like okay, that we know what that's from.
Have an
Um
Axel bot. Yeah.
but like to me it's just kind of interesting that they could really, with what they've done with this, they could really do like DLC packs of those cameo levels and do one for like a lot of the big games,
Sure. And
if they want to.
like you
Yeah.
said last time, like the omission of Square is extremely weird, and there's at least 1 or 2 other companies that like they aren't in there either, and
I'm
it's like,
wondering
huh,
if they're waiting for Sony to come with the truck and go, oh, we want to make an Astro Bot themed Final Fantasy
right,
uh, DLC pack. What do you guys say?
yeah,
You know, but I think that's what it is. I think they want Sony to come with an individualized. Oh, here's a Square Enix pack. Here's a Final Fantasy pack. Here's a I don't know Capcom pack or whatever, and then you can put them in there, right?
yeah,
I think some of them are just like, yo, we don't need to be in your game, right? Then there's people like John Garvin that are just complaining that their guy is in the game, and it's like you should be excited that Deacon is in
Yeah,
the
it's like, hey,
game instead of
someone remember Days Gone for a somewhat positive reason, not for the hunk of shit that it really is.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, what are you doing here? I mean, I get it. He's bitter towards Sony because of what happened, even though we found out that apparently Days Gone 2 was an internal ending. It wasn't Sony that ended it. They apparently killed it internally. Don't know if that's because they were going to change a lot of what the game was going to be or something. But yeah.
But yeah, I think
yeah. Go
it's
ahead.
a good game. You know, I would say turn off motion controls and have a good time.
I had fun with all that. I had fun with the motion controls, all that stuff.
Like
The game is amazing for me.
the,
I think it's right up there, my second game for game of the year behind
it's a lot
Rebirth.
less gimmicky than the first game, which is good.
Oh
At
yeah,
least
for sure.
the gimmicks are a lot more of an internal thing.
Yeah,